Shedeur Sanders is right where he should be, in Cleveland. It's actually probably the best spot for him right now in the NFL. The Cleveland Browns drafted him for one of two reasons. One, they see him as their future quarterback. Or two, they saw him as trade bait, get him through the preseason, and then trade him for something of value. But they didn't. They kept him. So therefore, they see him as their future starting quarterback. Now let me explain to you why. Joe Flacco obviously isn't their future. He's old. He's going into his 40s. He has maybe one season left, and then it's something new. Got two young quarterbacks here who are going to compete for this job. So why do I say that they think Shedeur is their future starting quarterback when they still have Dillon Gabriel? Well, because they traded Kenny Pickett. If they saw Dillon Gabriel as their future starting quarterback, then you keep Kenny Pickett and you trade Shedeur, because I guarantee you Shedeur would have gotten more value than Kenny Pickett as far as what they got. But right now, the Browns are playing a numbers game. You say, what do you mean they're playing a numbers game? Well, they paid they paid Dillon Gabriel $6 million with like $1.2 million guaranteed. Shedeur got a $4 million contract with about $500,000 guaranteed. Those guarantees matter something when you have two guys competing for the spot and now they're on the roster. You pay Dillon Gabriel more, so he's going to get the first shot. It's that simple. It's business. However, now we start moving past the guarantees once we get into the season, and now it's going to come down to play, who's developing right, and what happens with injuries, right? I predict that we're going to get to about week 7, and if Joe Flacco is healthy and he hasn't won the games like he should have, he's going to be on the bench. And it's going to either be Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur starting. And all these different things, right? Because fans matter. And they're going to want to see Shedeur on the field if the Browns are not winning, right? So Joe Flacco moves. And then the team, the coach, Stefanski, is going to have to make a choice. Who am I going to put on the field after Joe Flacco? Dillon Gabriel is a third-round quarterback at best. That's why they selected him there. Shedeur Sanders, whether you love him or hate him, is a first-round talent. Why he failed to the 5th round, we can argue about forever. But every analyst that everybody respects out there had Shedeur in the 1st round. Whether it was Mel Kiper or other analysts that you respect, they all had him in the 1st round. The NFL did that, right? So the fact that he fell to the 5th doesn't reflect his ability to play football on that field. He's a better quarterback than Dillon Gabriel. Sure, Dillon had a great game in the last preseason game. Shedeur had a great game in the first preseason game. It's a wash, in my opinion. When you go and look at these two guys about to compete for a starting job, Shedeur wins out. He's more talented. He's already building camaraderie with the team, and the fans love him. It's been obvious from the beginning, in my opinion, that Shedeur was going to be a Cleveland Brown long-term when they picked him. Now, it was a chance they could have traded him, but I think when he went out and played well in that first preseason game, trade was off the table. So then why did they take him out in that last preseason game? That was the number one sign to me. They took him out because they didn't want to get hurt. He can't be a starter if he's hurt, especially if he would have got seriously injured, and you can't trade him if he's hurt. This kid is valuable to them, and they're probably keeping him, and that's what we see happen. If Joe Flacco isn't able to get this Browns offense running correctly, Kevin Stefanski is going to be on the bubble to get Shedeur on that field as quickly as possible because the fans are going to demand it. The best quarterback room in NFL for him right now, because he really doesn't have any real competition as long as he goes and do what he's supposed to do.